Morning. Morning. I don't know if... No, I don't think it has. Sorry. Give me a sec. YouTube doesn't seem to be going live. I don't know why. But also we don't need the music like that, do we? We've got very ominous music for very ominous music for YouTube not working. How do I? I realise it's only day 2. But so far my experience of YouTube streaming is that it's just garbage. It's just garbage. See, I'm on that. Okay, right. Okay, no, right. I think we are right. We are live. We are live on YouTube. Just, I don't get how I'm supposed to. It's irritating. It irritates me because so for anyone who doesn't stream, also good morning Little Bit and good morning Max. For anyone who doesn't stream, like when you stream on Twitch, you literally you just go to your stream manager. There's no stream manager. There's no stream manager for YouTube. Like there should just be a button. Like why is there just not a button? It's stupid. I don't like it. Anyway, we're here. We're on Twitch. So here's the main place. Here's the main place to be, guys. You know, right? We can say this and it can be brought up in about a year's time. In a year's time, someone, if you want to clip this or not, but just remember Twitch. You guys are my favorite. Probably bite me in there at some point. Mana, good morning. Good morning, Mana. Okay, and we got Massimo in YouTube. Wait, Max, are you Massimo on YouTube? Because I feel like Massimo talks at a similar time that you do. You are? Okay, cool. And sorry, Manny, you asked a question, didn't you, Manny? But why are you live on YouTube? I'm just streaming to both because, well, the software to do it is easy enough to set up, but frustratingly, I lose some of my controls for Twitch in doing so. So it's just a test. On the basis that it's easy to set up, I might as well have stuff on YouTube. It's not so much to get viewers on the live stream on YouTube. It's more just then there are videos on YouTube. I also don't have to worry about when videos are going to expire and delete off Twitch because they'll be on YouTube. So that's that. Anyway, Sado, good morning. Wait, Sado's going. Sado. What? Why are you loading up? Kofi? What are you doing on Kofi? Are you going to go and become a member, Sado? Are you going to become a member on Kofi? Is that why you're looking at the link? Yeah. Still no day 2. Day 2. Wait, what's day 2? Oh yeah, no day 2. But on the plus side, that has updated. That has updated overnight to the amount that was sent yesterday. And still concerningly, right? And this is not even meant as any kind of this is not meant as a humorous statement. I'm a little bit concerned. I still don't know who made that £100 dono yesterday. And it's a lot of money. Like, and I'm all for people being like, I'm all for like people potentially want to being anonymous in chat. But I really would like to know who did that £100 dono, because it's a lot. It's a lot of money, and for it to be someone who I don't know who it is, and that's not to say like that's just kind of like not having a clue who they are. Just kind of makes me go, I don't know. It's almost, it's an uncomfortable feeling is the way I would describe it. So yeah, anyway. Manny, you've run out of cheese. Oh my god. That is not a good time. A lack of, and it's not the fact that you necessarily want to always eat the cheese. You don't always want to eat the cheese, but just the fact, just knowing that there is no cheese available. If you need, just a little bit of cheese to put on top of something, or maybe you need, when you get a little bit of a block of cheese when you're cooking, just, so you can nibble on it while you're cooking. Like, just knowing that it's not there for those eventualities, that is concerning. I hope you're going to rectify that today and get some cheese. Harasa, you're doing it. Wait, Sado, so it's you! Wait, Sado, you are the dono! Right. Sado. Right. In fact, we're going big. We're going big screen now, Sado. Delightful human being. Delightful human being. Delightful human being. However, I said yesterday several times in chat. Can you DM me who you are? Oh, Sado. Do you know what? I feel vindicated. In fact, hang on. Sado was playing a game. Everyone, Sado was playing a game yesterday. Because I was asking who it was who did that donation. Who did that big donation. We had a whole thing in chat where I was asking about it. And Sado was there going, well, do you potentially have their email address and know their name? And I was like, well, yes, I do. Yes, I do have their email address and their name. However, I'm not going to talk about that on stream because that would just be giving out someone's personal details, which would be highly inappropriate. And Sado's there just going, yeah, well, you have the name. You have the name and the email address. Who could it possibly be? Oh, let's keep the mystery. I nearly put an announcement on Discord last night. Like, this has been bothering me. I nearly put an announcement on Discord last night kind of going, guys, I'm not feeling too comfortable with the fact that someone I don't know has done a massive donation. And Sado, sat in the wings, is just there going, wah, he has all the details, he just doesn't know. You're a delightful human being, Sado, and thank you very much for that donation. And you know what? The thing is, right, because I can't give away information, there is part of I can't right, look, the type of email address that Sado has gave me a hint that it was someone in France. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to say on that. It gave me a hint that it was someone in France, and I was sat here going, god damn it, there's only one person who comes to this stream that I know for definite is French. And he's the one in chat going, well, if you have the details, maybe you could figure it out. Oh. Thank you, Sado. Thank you. But you are a swine for keeping quiet when I was asking who it was. Also, you weren't on the gnome giveaway. I couldn't put you on the gnome giveaway. I realise you're potentially not bothered about the gnome giveaway. I appreciate that you're probably not bothered about the gnome giveaway, but you weren't able to be on it. Anyway, right, I'm going to scroll back up, chat. Let's scroll back up, chat. And I also love that even in this chat, Sado has gone, well, if you have the email address of the donator, there's a hint. Funnily enough, Sado, I don't know your name. I don't actually believe that you're called Sado in real. I don't think you go to the office and everyone goes, hey, Sado. I mean, you know, because I just don't think people do that. You have all the information you need. Yes, except I don't. Anyway, right. Let's roll this back on chat. Just make sure I'm caught with everything. Because we have Mana, who hopefully is going to get some cheese today. You used to make... Oh, I'm going to butcher that name. Wait, is that... I mean, on the basis you were talking about cheese, is that like... how do you pronounce that? Is that like pot quiche? Pot cheese? Pot quiche? Pockies? I said I was going to butcher it. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that. I don't actually know what that is. If I put that in the internet, is that going to tell me what it is? It's... What are you? Wait, hang on. What is... Oh, it takes me to... Oh, no. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure I'll learn in a moment, now that I've asked about it. Sally, you said you wanted the Summer Santa. Don't remember who the second was. What, the second donut? No. So, like, the... Wait, hang on. So, Sado, let's just make sure there's zero ambiguity here. You are the £100 dono, okay? Let's just make sure I'm not thinking that you're the person who did that. Someone else did that dono. Anyway. Right. Sorry, I'm catching up with chat. But you asked, do I have the address of the donator because there's a hint it was you. Wait, so you're... No, Sado. Right, Sado. Sado, we're going to start having communication lessons. This is one stream a week. We are going to start having communication lessons. Do you not remember when I was given a riddle and the answer to the riddle was that it was a riddle and I didn't realise I'd even answered the question and everyone was laughing at me because I went, oh, this is a riddle. I'm no good at riddles. Do we remember this? It's in the clip somewhere. It's in the clip somewhere where I didn't even realise that I'd given the correct answer to something. You are bound by the power of GDPR. Exactly. So, Max, right? So, all joking aside, yes, I am completely bound by the things like data protection and stuff. So when people start going, "Oh, have you got all these details?" I'm like, "Yes, but I can't say any of it. I can't even give a hint." Oh dear. Mana, can I go get cheese? Can you go get cheese while I'm on a rant? I'm sorry. Hopefully you're back now. Hopefully you've returned with cheese. It's not a mandatory lecture. Outrageous. Everything I say is gold. Anyway, we're nearly at the bottom of chat now. Tried to make you figure it out, but never said you suspected me. It's fine, Sado. Just... Sado did a really good thing yesterday by hiding in plain sight. I think that's where we need to. I think that's where we're gonna leave that one on. He managed to hide in plain sight. Anyway, right, sorry, this, so pot cheese. Okay, so I probably pronounced it right, but it does translate as pot cheese. Is an old regional dish from southern Denmark. It is prepared in the following manner. Great, yeah. We get cheese, obviously. The exact type doesn't matter. I love that. Just whatever cheese you have is fine. But it should be as ancient as physically possible. Okay. Cut and grate the cheese into small pieces. If necessary, put it in a medium-sized pot. Okay. Add whiskey or other spirits. Okay. Leave the pot in the refrigerator for about 2 weeks, stirring it briefly once a day until it has a smooth texture. Oh, so does the... Wait, hang on. Am I reading that right? So does the cheese dissolve into the alcohol? Is that what we're kind of saying? Consume on dark bread. Oh, wow. And it'll keep for at least 6 months. Though some sources say indefinitely. Wait, why does this thing say... Wait, hang on. I've just got to something that says legal considerations underneath this recipe. And it starts off with husbands! Exclamation mark. You may find your significant other taking irrational exception to the presence of pot cheese in your house. Should this happen, you may need to know that in regions of origin, interference with the pot cheese, such as hiding it in a nearby forest or failing that the garden, is customarily considered valid grounds for divorce. Be aware, however, that some wives have been known to make surprising decisions when faced with a choice between keeping their husbands or getting rid of the cheese. Proceed with caution. What is this wiki? I've come across a wiki that is hilarious. I've come across it's called the Rational Wiki. And just the way it describes this stuff is fantastic. Anyway, so for anyone who's interested, this is the description of what Mana wanted to make, but has no cheese. Hopefully is acquiring cheese. You want a sort of cheese... So, yeah, so like an alcoholic cheese spread. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel. Like, the flavour... I mean, obviously it works because lots of people make it. But, like, the flavours going together... Though I can understand needing, like, I can understand needing, like, a strong cheese. Interesting. Interesting. But yeah, anyway, so fascinating. We've learned today. Right, how do I put that in the world? How does that go into this world? That feels immediately like it would be... That feels immediately like that would... If I was to say who would have that dish in like this in the world, I feel like it would be the dwarves. And right, hang on, we're gonna scribble something down. This might not be we're gonna figure this out. This might not be we're gonna figure this out all today, but pot cheese. If I could spell properly, that would help, wouldn't it? I'm intrigued now. Pot cheese. And then... Oh, I put the... Oh, no. Wait, no. I need the proper... And so I like, Sado, that you're picking up on the exact bits that I like, that I found really funny. Yeah, like some say it will last for 6 months, some say indefinitely. So pot cheese, I feel like it would be dwarfish, because that feels like something. Right. So in my brain, I realise this is not what we're meant to be doing today. I appreciate this is not what we're meant to be doing today. I understand that. I understand we're not meant to be doing this today. But in my brain, I almost just kind of want to write this down. I feel like this would be something that the dwarves would make, and when they are going into deep mines, they take this thing, and almost like when old like beer and ale, when they used to take it on ships. Part of the reason they did it was because of part of the reason why they took it on ships wasn't just like, it wasn't because it was it was because it was alcohol, so it would keep and wouldn't go bad. But one of the other reasons was because of all like the nutrients that were in it. Not so much like modern day beer and ale and stuff don't have like the same kind of nutrient content as old school stuff. But like they would have it on ships because it would give like nutrients and stuff to the sailors. I feel like pot cheese could be a thing that dwarves. Could take down the mines, which would mean that in the evening they would basically have the alcohol. So this is not necessarily going to be a perfect thing. But the alcoholic cheese serves as a meal and a drink, which then obviously and it will go well with the hard bread. Like they'll take some like hardtack with them down the mines. That might be something we do. IPA is different. So the reason why IPA exists is because when the British had the Empire and we had India, we would brew the beer. So we wanted to get beer to the troops in India, but to get it to survive the trip, we would have to overhop it. And that was the way that we would preserve it for the trip. Basically the beer got brewed here, and then it took months to get the beer to India, so they had to overhop it. So Indian Pale Ale that's like why Indian Pale Ale now is like super hoppy. But it was to do with that was the reason why that one specifically is because of that was the only way they could keep the beer good for the long journey it had to go on. And then when the troops eventually came home, they'd grown so accustomed to drinking IPA, they started wanting it at home, even though there was no real need for it to be that hopped. Like they just got used to the flavour, and that's why they started wanting it at home again. Even though it didn't need to be that hopped, because it didn't need to be preserved once it was here. Imagining the claustrophobic confines of a mine shaft, and the moment someone opens up a pot of cheese, the stink would clear the mine. Right. So here's the thing. We've got two ways we can tackle this. So going into a bit of like mining law, like real world mining law. So in England, I know people like to joke about how much we don't use spices and stuff. But the rise, one of the big rises of spice in the UK was actually related to I want to say it was the coal miners. I don't think it was the tin miners. I think it was related to the coal miners. And when the coal miners, and this will play into the comment that you just made, Manor, but the miners, because of all the particles that they'd get in their nose and their throat and stuff, and the damage it was doing to them, the miners actually started to lose their sense of smell and taste. And so there was a rise of when various, and so what happened was, and I'm sure this happened elsewhere. This is just, I only know this as like a bit of UK history, but there was a rise in the use of spices among miners, where the miners just kept on wanting hotter and hotter food. And the reason was because from mining, their sense of smell and taste was so destroyed. They had to have spicier and spicier dishes because it was the only way they could. It was the only way they could taste anything. And I imagine that happening with dwarves. So the very thing of what you've just kind of said there is, I almost imagine it being the opposite thing. Like, you know, actually no, maybe it makes like the vermin scatter. Maybe the vermin scatter, but to the dwarves, with their destroyed sense of smell and taste from being down the mines, if they can smell pot cheese, they know it's a good one. They know it's a good one if they can actually smell it. So like the idea of, like, you know, them just cracking open one of these jars and the smell coming out, like, yeah, it could be hilarious if you just, like, if you imagine the scene in your brain, just like they're round a fire at night, one of them brings out one of these pot cheeses, they crack the lid, and within seconds the vermin anything is just legging it in all directions, and the dwarves are just there going, oh yes, you said you were going to bring the good one, your wife's done a really excellent job with that, that's been, and then the guy's just going to be like, they're going, yeah no, we had this one in the cellar for 7 months before we were coming down here, because we knew we were going to be down here, and they're like, that's a good amount of time. So if the dwarfs are going to do pot cheese, I've kind of got visions of not necessarily in a mason jar. I'm feeling. Do you know what? Has anyone? Oh, right. There's a thing. Also, Bailey. Good morning to you, Bailey. I hope you are well. Yeah, Bailey, I hope all is good. I know you weren't able, without getting into massive details, I know you weren't able to be on the phone call last night. I obviously don't know exactly why, but I hope everything's okay. Imagine that. Sorry, yeah, we did the claustrophobic bit. Yeah, 30 seconds. Rename it to dwarven cheese. Only eaten on dwarven battle bread. Do you know? There's part of me, Manor, that almost wants to leave it under that name. I almost want to leave it under that name so that anyone, almost as like a little Easter egg, for anyone who recognizes the name, kind of goes, oh, I know what that is. So yeah, I don't know. Well, at the moment we'll have it there. If I tell you what, we'll put another. Well, just in case, just so we know which race it's related to. Dwarven cheese. So there's a video I see at the moment. There's a video that kind of goes around on shorts, and it keeps coming to me. It's basically of it's actually wine. It is wine, and it's this guy opening this this clay vessel. I don't know if it actually classes as a what are they called? Is it an amphora? Is it an amphora? I don't know if it actually classes as one of them, because it doesn't. I think they have to have a handle, whereas this doesn't have a handle, and it's got like it's got an opening. And so you got this clay vessel, and it's like 500-year-old wine. It's 500-year-old wine, and it's guy opening it. And so this is obviously the clay vessel, and it looks very old. And then they have like and then over the top of that is a series of vines. So there's like a load of leaves. There's leaves in kind of like a lattice. And that I'm kind of like the lattice is a lot tighter than this. I'm just trying to show that it's not one solid piece. And so there's a very tight lattice over the top of that. And then over the top of that, there's a clay lid. There's a clay lid that seals on the top. I'm kind of imagining something like that for this pot, but on the basis this stuff isn't meant to be opened up for like months at a time. Now, I mean, this thing is like this big. I'm not proposing that they have like a thing of pot cheese this massive. Maybe they would for a restaurant. Maybe a restaurant would do something like that. But I'm imagining something like this, but smaller. Something like this, but smaller. So maybe something the size of a mason jar. Because a mason jar sized version of this would be more like a ration size, like if you knew you were going down into the mines for like a week's long trip, like, you know, each person would carry a few of these mason jars, and then in the evening you're one of us now. Like each evening they crack open a mason jar to share between all. So like each of them might carry, say, like five of these mason jars or something. But when they crack open one a night and they all divvy it up because it's super, like, say it's like highly calorific, which it probably is. Sponsor, good morning. Good morning, sponsor. Sponsor, thank you very much for the gifty sub. Thank you very kindly. Thank you very much. Also, Barely, thank you very much for the channel points towards the community goal. For anyone who hasn't done so today, remember, community goal is well on the way. Also, Mana, thank you for the community goal points as well. We're at 66%, 68%, because someone's just done some now. Sponsor, thank you very much for the community goal points. We're getting very close. We're doing good with that. We're doing good with that community goal. I feel like the 100k. I feel like the 100k was the right amount for the community goal, because it feels like we're making good progress on it. But it's also feeling like it's actually significant. Like, we didn't do it in a single stream. You know, it's taken a few streams to do that community goal, so I'm happy with how much that was. But anyway, sorry, yeah, Mana. So we were talking about this as well. Yeah, so because it's so rank and soggy, it softens up the battle bread. Battle bread, which is otherwise used as a blunt weapon in an emergency situation. Oh, so right, okay, so so you're basically saying like their hardtack is so hard, like they literally could like throw it like a throwing star. When they see like one of the giant slugs come out of a cave, they're just like, and it's got like edges on it, and they stick in the side of the slugs. Not saying the slugs would necessarily care, but yeah, they actually. Battle bread. Wait, battle bread is baguette sized. Holy crap! All right, okay. Hold that thought. We'll get the cheese down. Sponsor still missing reaction. Wait, what reaction are we missing? What have I not done? What have I not done, sponsor? And so Manu, you was talking about a wax seal. So instead of the vines, so like when we're talking about this old wine, these are vine leaves. For seal. But with this thing, let's go with... We're doing a diagram to explain what this stuff is. So it's not necessarily exactly how this stuff's made, but let's do that. And then just to try and... So that'll be a wax seal. Also glues down lid. And don't worry if you can't read these things, I can just about read them. So I still want the clay. I still want kind of like the clay lid, which will protect the wax seal. So like the clay lid will still exist on top of the wax. So what they'll do is they'll put the wax on. They'll put the wax on, and while the wax is still molten, they'll put the clay lid on. And so as the wax cools and solidifies, that'll also basically wedge this clay lid on. And so these jars basically get destroyed once they're used. Which isn't a problem because they're made of clay. You know, it's not like that. It's a resource that is renewable that they can get more of. But when they use these jars, once this jar is opened, it's a one use container. So if you're down in dwarven mines, you might come across like piles of clay, which might smell. So I remember where that comes from. So that comes over there. So baguette is a battle bread is baguette sized, literally blunt weapons. Dwarven hardtack could be used as throwing weapons for sure. So dwarven. Okay, yeah, we'll get to those baguettes. We'll get to those baguettes. Ambro, the cake is a lie. The cake is not always a lie. Sometimes the cake is a lie. Dwarven cheese. Right, sorry. So sponsor. You told Rook. You told Rook you can buy dwarf ale as it's nearly more like liquor. Not sure what you're referring to, sponsor. Oh, sorry, wait, hang on, let me scroll up in chat. Was there another bit in chat? Wait, hang on. Found a bottle named Dwarf Ale in the USA. A very strong liquor. Oh, right. Oh, I see. Yeah, dwarves, I mean, like, that would not be... Like, even that, I mean, that, like... Really strong beers and stuff. Like, I used to drink a lot of Brewdog beers, and one of the, I presume they still make it, but Brewdog used to make a beer called Tactical Nuclear Penguin. and it was, I want to say it was 52%. And so obviously it wasn't like a beer that you chugged by any means. It was like when you used to buy a tactical nuclear penguin, while you could buy it by the bottle, like generally, certainly if you were in the bar, they sold it by the shot. I want to say it was 52%. I know there are, before anyone say, I know there are stronger beers. Like I think the strongest beer is somewhere in the mid or late 70s, because people started competing against each other. Very weird, super strong beers, but very dwarven. Would make sense that it doesn't surprise me that someone's like described it as a dwarven thing. The £3 on kofi is real. Yes, yeah. Right, dwarven cheese. We're going to call this a preserve / survival ration. Alcoholic soft cheese. Any cheese, and then this is literally like I'm not planning on changing that recipe much. Like I'm not planning on changing that at all. Any cheese. I tell you what. Like the this is where we'll change it. We're gonna roll in the bit that the sponsor's just been talking about. So like the real world version of this. So the pot cheese. So the one from Denmark is described as like it can have whiskey or some other spirit in it. That's how it's described in the real world. In this world, it's going to be any cheese and strong dwarven ale. And a combat grenade. Yeah, I do. There will right. I absolutely guarantee there will be a story. Where dwarves need to. Maybe the dwarves need to get away from some goblins. But there will be a story where one of them will take one of these pot cheeses and they will literally throw it on the ground. Because it's a clay pot. So they'll throw it on the ground almost like a smoke bomb. So, and that'll hold back whoever's coming after them for long enough while the dwarves make their escape. There will be a short story. I tell you what, right? Where I need space. Where can I put this? Wait, zoom in, zoom, enhance. Give me this space. This space here. Make their escape. Okay, that's there. That'll happen at some point. Ambro, can you get something off your chest? It's quite a story, so I doubt it'll fit into one chat box. So if you can't interrupt till I'm done, that'd be grand. Okay, so I won't. I'll read it all as one thing, Ambro. Once you've told me you've written the whole thing. Once you told me that, once I need one line at the bottom of chat saying the whole story's there. Then I will go back up and read the whole thing. And I'll just pretend I'm not seeing your bits in chat until I've done them all. You're done. Okay, well, there you go. Easy. Right, okay. So anyway, so you want to get something off your chest. Okay. When you were a baby, your biological parents were killed. Oh, damn. That's a hell of a way to start a story. So your aunt and uncle adopted you. Okay. But they weren't all that good to you. They locked you in your room and excluded you in pretty much everything. When I started your new school, you made 2 new friends. Buddy's family took you in rather quickly. You found out your parents were pretty well off, but you didn't use any money. But I didn't use any of the money to financially support your friends and family, even though there was money was tight. And to make it even worse, you hooked up with the younger sister when you were 16. When she was 16. Ambro. I'm going to say something here. That it is... I might commit a faux pas here. Okay, I'm going to say I might commit a faux pas here, but that's the story of Harry Potter. For those who have a keen mind, it's part of the plot of Harry Potter. Okay, right. So that's not... Ambro, you can't do that. You can't do that, Ambro. You can't say that. You can't start off, make it sound like it's a real story. That's... No. Right, you can't do that. I've got to put the chair back. Right, you can't do that to people on chat, right? Okay, that story... That's the kind of story you can tell in real life because people will be able to see your face. For people on the internet who don't know you that well... I mean, you guys could see my face. I was literally reading that going, that's the fucking story to Harry Potter. But if I was literally there going, that is the story to Harry Potter. But if I get this wrong, everyone is going to think I am a complete fucking dickhead. I would like everyone to fully appreciate my bravery in talking about Harry Potter. There we go. Anyway, there we go. Barely, you're back with coffee. What coffee are you drinking, Barely? What coffee are you drinking? Do you know what the best bit is? Do you know what the best? I've never read Harry Potter. I've never read Harry Potter. I've watched some of the movies. Wait, have I watched all the movies? I don't actually know. Oh my god, Mana is throwing the stinkiest cheese on you. I hope you appreciate what you've created. Mana has gone full battle mode and is literally just hurling pots of stinky fermented alcohol-induced cheese upon you. Anyway. Oh dear. You deserved it. as long as you're owning that. As long as you're owning that. Right. Back to pot cheese. Oh, actually, do you know what? Sponsor. Based on some of the things that you've talked about, have you ever had this? Hang on, I don't know if you were in the chat before, but this sounds like the kind of thing you'd be interested in. So sponsor that link's for you. I feel like you would. That feels like something you would enjoy. And right now we're trying to turn it into a thing that exists in my world, and I think this will work really well. I think this will work really well, and I think it will make a nice little Easter egg for anyone who recognizes the name in the real world. Let's take that. We're gonna make that smaller because while I kind of want to have like where the idea for the container came from, it's not going to be like a main part of this entire thing. And yeah, just to like, we're not gonna dwell and labor on that thing, but just like the bit that Bailey's posted there, like that's part of my like concern in terms of the thing about kind of like when you're on the internet in chat, like it's very difficult to know when people can't see you, like the tone and intent of how you're saying something. And equally, yeah, like Bailey's kind of said, you don't necessarily know everyone else's background. But strange cheese. Let's focus on strange cheese because strange cheese is stinky but safe. Stinky but safe. This is going to keep people alive. Oh man, we could even have sieges. We could have sieges that are this. Sieges to do with this thing. We lived on pot cheese. We lived on pot cheese for 17 months. 17 months we lived on pot cheese, and then the people who lived on pot cheese for 17 months become obsessed with eating anything that is not pot cheese when they eventually get out of the siege. Oh, I completely messed this up, didn't I? completely messed this up. There we go. It's nearly fine. We're nearly back. We're nearly back. We're nearly back. Oh no. Oh, this is not working. This is not working. But all right, it's close enough. Close enough for government work. Anyway. Sponsor brings back a childhood memory. Wait, have you had this as well? Have you had this as well, Sponsor? Is this something that you're familiar with? Your grandfather ate it every day. Wait, ate it very much. Okay, but he died a year ago. Oh, sad to hear that. But so you know this stuff. This kind of like I'm trying to imagine the flavor of this in my brain. Like, because obviously I know how cheese tastes. I know how cheese tastes, and I'm very familiar with how whiskey tastes. This is, and obviously Mana is very keen because Mana wants to make some now. Stinky but Safe sounds like a Limp Bizkit album. That would be a great album name. That would be a great album name. It actually tastes very nice. The thing is, like, I can imagine it does, because I remember. So I was in. Oh, this is going back years, but I was in a really fancy restaurant. Like, I'm talking like 15 years ago. And when the desserts came round, they did ice cream, and they started off with like a vanilla ice cream, and then they'd whip it so it was soft. And as they were like whipping it so that it was soft, they would mix in your choice of spirit. So and then they'd like serve it with, say, like a sticky toffee pudding or something like that. And so they did it at the table. So they'd bring out this trolley. They'd bring out a trolley which would have a cooled bowl in it. They put the ice cream in it, and they'd whip the ice cream in front of you. And then they'd have the tray of spirits going, which spirit do you want putting in? I think I went with rum. Rather than whiskey, but whiskey was an option. So I had a dark rum mixed into my ice cream, and then it was served. Then it was served to you. And so in terms of, like, yeah, I can imagine how it could taste like. And so the thing with, I realize ice cream is not the same as cheese. I understand ice cream is not the same as cheese, but what I'm trying to say is, like, the creamy flavor of the ice cream, like, took away like any kind of sharpness to the rum, but you still had the rum flavor just without that kind of like sharpness. So I can imagine something like the creaminess of the cheese, certainly with the way that, like, this is kind of describing it, like it's saying like the cheese goes soft, right? So I can imagine like the smoothness and the creaminess of the cheese takes away like that sharpness. Takes away the sharpness of the whatever spirit you've got going on. There's egg in ice cream too, not in cheese. No, I know that ice cream and cheese are different things. I understand that ice cream is not just cold cheese. What I'm trying to say is they both have like a creamy. They have a dairy like creaminess to them. Is what I'm trying to get at, and I'm thinking like that feels like something that would like take off the sharpness of the spirit. And now there's just going to be like a meme that I don't know, that I think that cheese is cold. Ice cream is cold cheese. That's not true. Ambro, you didn't pass me. I used to love whiskey. I don't drink anymore. But when I used to drink spirits, I was a massive fan of spirits. That was part of the problem. Add ice cream. No, we don't need that quote, Sado. Also, do you know what? It's fine because Sado doesn't know how to add quotes. It's fine. Sado tried this on the previous, I think, on last stream. I think Sado's tried this on the last stream. It was Friday's stream. Just Sado doesn't know how to add quotes, so I am safe. I am safe from your quoting. Let's okay. Because obviously, like, that recipe was talking about it having to be like mixed, wasn't it? Like being stirred and stuff. But we're obviously talking about it being sealed as well. So we'll carry that bit on. We'll carry that bit on. But let's say left together, stirred each day. And we'll say they do that. We'll say they do that for 3 months. We'll say they do that for 3 months before sealing. Oh man, can you imagine? That's not how you spell sealing. I'm thinking of completely the wrong sealing. Sealing. Before sealing. I can imagine, like, you know, there's some dwarves like down in some caves. There's some dwarves down in some caves, and they come across like an abandoned camp. They don't know how long that camp's been there. No idea how long that camp has been there. But they find some of these pots. And I've just got visions now of, like, there being maybe like one dwarf who is super excited, wanting to crack this stuff open immediately, and then some of the others going, this could be years old. This could be years old. And that dwarf being like, exactly. Can you imagine how good this stuff is after several years of being sealed? It's supposed to be quote ad. Look, do you know what? Part of me, do I even want to tell you how to do the quotes? Send the quotes to a mod, maybe Lord Earl Grey. Lord Earl Grey is not... Lord Elston isn't a mod. But also, the quotes, if I remember correctly, my quoting system is not restricted to mods only. I believe anyone can add a quote. Obviously, if people start, Sado worked it out. I've just seen he's added a quote. Sado now has the power. Oh dear. Sado now has the power. We've got a 15-minute sketch. A seal, the animal of approval. Okay, right. We will come to the right. We'll do the 15-minute sketch in a second. Let me just say, is there anything that I need to put down here before I do the rest of it? Just so I don't forget it. I think we're all right though. I think the main bits are there right now. But yeah, I can imagine like a story where like some dwarves find some really old pot cheese, and because like that would play in that would play into the thing in that description on that wiki that says some people say it'll last for 6 months and some people say it will last indefinitely. Like, that would be those dwarves. Like, there'd be dwarves going, you can't have that. That's clearly been down here years. And then there'll be like an old grizzled dwarf. There'll be an old grizzled dwarf who's just like, this stuff lasts forever. This stuff lasts forever. As long as the seal's intact, this stuff lasts forever. That's kind of what I imagine going on. And then we will get onto the bread. So today is not turning into what I thought we were going to do today at all. Today, I thought we were going to carry on with doing some symbols for factions. Instead, we're going to do bread and cheese. I need this. Set as a new layer. Get rid of that. Put that in. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Do. Sponsor, you're fat. You're not having cheese at the moment. Hey, look. I talk about what the people want me to talk about. Oh no! Oh no! What's wrong with my glass? Is that a crack? No, don't be cracked. Oh man, I had to nick this from a pub. I don't go to pubs anymore. Oh mate, there might be a crack in my pint mug. I mean, it's not a mug. I realise I've just said it's a pint mug. It's a pint glass. It's a... Do you know, I don't know where I got it from. I always used to call these pineapple pint glasses. And I don't know anyone who does that. I mean, everyone else calls it a dimple mug, but for some reason I call them a pineapple. And I don't know why. I don't know where I got pineapple from, but they're dimple pint mugs. Anyway, right. Preferred on dwarven hardtack and dwarven battle bread. Absolutely, yeah. We won't forget that bit. In terms of the whole fact that this is on dwarven, it might not be called battle bread. I might come up with a slightly different name than battle bread. But the idea of like a baguette, and I'm thinking it's going to be black bread. I'm thinking that's going to be black bread for that's in the shape of like a baguette, which they'll obviously just go bonk. They'll use it like what are they called? Policemen have them, or had them. Oh, like old. I'm talking like old school. I'm talking like old school, and then they became like illegal. So I don't mean a truncheon. I mean Billy. Is it a Billy Club? Is a Billy Club what I'm thinking of? That sounds like it could be right. Oh no, because a Billy Club. No, a Billy Club is a. No, a Billy Club is a truncheon. I'm thinking of. Anyway, we'll come to that bit. But I'm thinking of it being like a black bread. And that'll probably play something into like it's preserved. Anyway, sorry. Right, we got a whole thing on bread. We've got a whole thing we're going to do on bread. Okay. Let's sort out this sketch. So the sketch is a seal. A seal of approval. Shadow. Actually, do you know what? The weapon I'm thinking of? The weapon I'm thinking of, actually, I think was bendy, so that probably wouldn't work for the black bread. It probably will end up just being a truncheon. There was one that I was thinking of with like that had, but it has a slight bend to it, so it wouldn't work because they kind of like really just like they like whip it. They almost like whip it when they use it. Not anymore. Like this, I'm pretty sure it's like decided that it was like completely illegal to use these things at some point from a police enforcement point of view. But like going back in time, like they used to like really like. But no, probably end up being a truncheon. Anyway, right. So a seal of approval. Let's this feels like an easy one. This feels like an obvious. Although I can't think what their head looks like. Their head's kind of like a. Don't tell me. This is me just thinking out loud. Their head's kind of like a hairless dog. So seal. Maybe go a little bit cartoony. Needs to have a smile, doesn't it? Needs to have a smile. But yeah, if we go cartoony, give him like an eyebrow. I'm sure they have whiskers. We get rid of the nose. They got back. Wait, no, because they've got the tail, haven't they? I was just thinking they haven't got any kind of like back flippers because they got the tail. Seal. That's terrible way of doing that. There you go. Easy. We're never doing seals again. Never ask me to draw a seal again. I'm gonna put this in the channel rules. Don't ask me to draw seals. Because I can't draw seals. I'm gonna have to reset. I mean, I can't. To be fair, I can't really draw rats or dogs or cats. But beyond all those things, don't ask me to draw seals specifically. Can't remember. I don't even know what the... I feel like they have like little... like that there. And then I'm pretty sure they have eyes. Pretty sure they have eyes. So we'll do that. And then just floating eyebrows. Floating eyebrows to make it more cartoony, because then people can't be as anatomical. Clap, 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 clap. There you go. Seal of approval. Done. And then, tell you what, here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Bosch, small, seal of approval. We've probably still got time. I'm sure that wasn't 15 minutes. Sure that wasn't 15 minutes. Get that down. There you go. Keep it topical with the day. Topical with the day, and then it's like a certificate. Certificates have borders on them, don't they? There we go. Certificates have borders on, often fancy borders, so let's make it illuminated, kind of. It's kind of like illumination. Usually I have flowery bits to make it look like a certificate. Signature. There you go. There's signature. I hereby declare this. There we are. There we are. Beautiful. Seal of approval. Done. Done. Save that in the sketches. Speed sketch. Sorted. Right. So. During that speed sketch, I'd also like to note, during that speed sketch, you guys have had plenty of time to get all the cheese and alcohol that you've needed from your local shop to start making pot cheese. Probably... Ooh, wait, am I thinking of a blackjack? I think I might be thinking of a blackjack. Wait, weapon. Weapon. Am I thinking of blackjack? Oh, I need like a picture. Give me a picture. Images. I think I'm thinking of a blackjack. And now I've just thought about how, yeah, I'm thinking of a blackjack. But then when I started thinking about how they work, they wouldn't work for this, because this bread is meant to be hard. So yeah, it wouldn't work. Yeah, that wouldn't. Obviously I thought about it. I thought it, and then in my thoughts, I've realised it doesn't work. So we will think of it more like being used as a truncheon, a small club. Right. Also, thank you very much for all the additional channel point contributions we're doing. We're at 74%. We're at 74% on channel point contributions, and we've got, how many days have we got? We've got 8 days left. But when we say 8 days, that's not 8 streaming days. So if we've got 8 days left, we've got a stream on Thursday, a stream on Friday, and Friday's a long stream, so there's even more time to get points in on that. And then we've got Monday and Tuesday. So we've got 4 streams, and one of those is a double stream. And Thursday's stream is going to be in the afternoon. So we'll probably be able to get a few people who normally turn up for gaming streams that we've been missing out on. I think, we're absolutely going to hit this community goal. This community goal is 100% going to happen. I've just seen your comment about don't confuse seals and sea lions. I don't actually know what the difference is between a seal and a sea lion. I just presume they're just different breeds of the same, from like the same tree. Oh, look at that. Yeah, okay. So sea lions have bigger fins and they have ears. Whereas seals don't have ears. I didn't give that guy ears, did I? That guy, yeah, he didn't get any ears. The fins might have been too long. Might have given him too long fins, but that'll be all right. And then just a terrible shape to the head. Did a terrible job of the head. Should have been shorter. Sea lions have got a bit of a longer snout, don't they? And then it should have been a shorter snout. It'll do. I'm sure people, like if you looked at it and don't analyze it, which is pretty much how you should do everything on this channel. Everything on this channel should be looked at but not analysed. Don't analyse anything, because then it's all going to go wrong. Just hit a button on my stream deck. Still working. Oh no, we've lost a follower on Twitch. Probably means it was a bot account that's been deleted. Give me a moment. Hello, I am back. Oh, we're up to 76%. Thumbs, thank you very much for the contribution to the community goal. Sado, this weekend was the birthday of your wife. What an expensive start to the month, yeah. Indeed, indeed. Is the squire done a? Sorry, it was a shout from downstairs, so I just had to go and do something that was obviously critically important, which was move a piece of furniture. Satan was. I mean, she might take that a little bit offensively, calling her Satan. But on some days, it might feel like that. Dan, thank you very much for the contribution to the community goal. Okay, so it's 78. 78. This is good. I move furniture a lot. Do I move furniture a lot? I don't think it's that often. It's not like I do it every stream. Like maybe like once a week. It's occurred a few times. Yeah, it does. It does. That part, I would agree with you. It has happened multiple times. Mine is not to wonder why. Mine is simply to do. Oh wait, no, that'll make it look like glass if I do it that way. Anyway, right, so dwarven cheese is a preserved survival ration, alcoholic self cheese, any cheese, shredded or diced. I could have said grated, but I've gone with shredded or diced. I don't know if they have a cheese grater. They might not have a cheese grater in this world, so we'll go with shredded or diced. I imagine kind of like diced, it might almost be a bit chunky when you use it. That doesn't sound very appetizing. And then it uses a strong dwarven ale. We'll say a strong dwarven ale is over. We'll say something over 30% can be used for this, but ideal we'll say is like 70% or something. If I could draw things, it's not 70. So we'll say that. So maybe they only do like the 30% one for children. Maybe that's how they do it. Like if you have like a like if you're introducing, because the children yearn for the mines. Maybe dwarven children go down the mines, but they have to have a slightly lighter dwarven cheese. It's important to move pieces of furniture that wouldn't otherwise move frequently so that you can clean behind and under them. Especially important that you can clean parts of dust that cannot possibly reach. I mean, there is. Don't get me wrong. I like a clean house. sometimes it does feel like there might be a bit of an excessive amount of cleaning in this house. Anyway, as I say, mine is not to wonder why. Mine is simply to do. So, Dwarven cheese. Dwarven cheese goes into this mason jar sized, made of clay. Except I'll just balls that up. I must say the amount of we're not trying to get into a deep conversation about this, but the amount of how much I have to move things. I kind of wonder what happened before I was here. Because that means one of two things. Nothing ever got moved before I was here. Or said person is perfectly capable of moving things. Yeah, there's a reason why we say there's a monster under the furniture. If you look under the settee, there might something look back. Yeah. I was... in my old apartment, I used to live at, so I think everyone knows by now, but I used to live above a bakery, which obviously smells great. One of the downsides to living above a bakery, though, and to be fair, living above bar, not just the bakery's fault, like, you know, you live above restaurants and bars, but rodents are a problem. They're a problem, and there's not, like, they manage it as best they can, but it's always going to, like, it's always going to be a problem. And because I live directly above the bakery, like, regardless of how clean my place was, and my place was, you know, I'm not gonna, I didn't necessarily, I'm not like one of those people who enjoys cleaning, but I do like being in a clean place. Do you know what I mean? So kind of like, I would do cleaning, and then I'd be look around and go, oh, this is great, cool. So I never enjoyed the cleaning, but I liked the bit after the cleaning. And then there was one day, which actually fits into that whole thing of how often do you move your furniture, where I was sat one night just like watching a movie, and all of a sudden I could just hear this. I was like, what the fuck is that? What the hell is that? And I could hear, and like I'd like look around and obviously like move my feet, and then the sound would stop if I stood up and moved around, and I'd be like, I don't know what the hell this is. And then I go and sit down again and carry on watching the movie, and then I'd start just hearing the. So I got up and I was like, that sounds like something. It sounds like a mouse gnawing. At this point, I'd already seen like mice around the place. They tend to use my apartment as a through thing. Like there was a gap in my kitchen behind the washing machine. They'd come up there, and then they'd actually go out my front door. So they wouldn't stay in my apartment. They literally used me like a highway. Wherever they went after there, I don't know. But and I heard this gnawing. And then in the very thing that Dan, like, I was looking around, and eventually I looked under my sofa, and there was about that much gap under my sofa. And sure enough, there was a mouse. There was a mouse who had apparently I had managed to knock a Dorito underneath the sofa. Not on that specific night, but I'd managed to knock a Dorito under the sofa. And there it was, mouse, Dorito in hand. Just like looking at me going, what? You're not eating it. So yeah, look under your furniture, people. Not as excessively as some people do, but if you can't remember the last time you looked under your furniture, you probably should do that this weekend. one of the plus sides for living above, like, one of the plus sides of being in like rented accommodation, being in an apartment and being above, and the thing was my landlord owned the bakery as well, so he's obviously responsible for the whole thing. We had an like, and this is not like this is a terrible thing. If people aren't doing this, they should be. But we basically had a regular exterminator. We had a regular exterminator who would come round like every like if there was a problem, he'd come round like obviously immediately, but he usually came round for a check every 6 months. So he'd like look behind everywhere and go, is there any signs of mice? Is there any signs of problems? So like, and he would come and do a regular inspection every 6 months. And he'd be like he'd lay down poison and stuff. And there would be, mice. I had found, oh, bless it. I mean, obviously, like, I didn't really want it there, but I did find one just like in the middle of the kitchen. One, I came down in the morning and just in the middle of the kitchen just flopped out on the floor, just legs splayed. Obviously it was dead. But that guy was great. Oh, he always used to want to talk about my Lego as well. We used to have great conversations about Lego. And Star Wars. He was big on Lego and Star Wars. He's just watching the film with you. It did feel like that. Like, it did feel like maybe he was just under the sofa, just eating his snacks, watching whatever movie was on, and I interrupted him because he was facing towards the TV. Yeah. Anyway, right. This has got nothing to do with what's happening on screen. So we've got this dwarven cheese. If anyone's coming to the chat later on, this is based on a real world cheese, which has been I'm going to say inadvertently, because I don't think that Mana came in going, hey, let's put this in the world, but now it's going in the world. So Mana was talking about this cheese earlier on, and I just thought it sounded great. Is this podcast? Yes, yeah. So ignore my terrible handwriting. But yes, that's me trying to write the word. That was me trying to write the word. And then when I looked on the internet, I found the Rational Wiki, which I feel like I want to have a proper look at later on because it describes things in a great way. But when I just started reading this thing on its description of this pot cheese, I was like, this sounds like something that this feels like something that dwarves would take when they go down like deep mine shafts, when they go on an expedition, or they're going on a long mining trip. Oh, do you know what this could be? We could have a whole thing. And there could be non-dwarves that get into this, and the non-dwarves, like the non-dwarves could get into this. You remember when I was talking about the portal? I was talking about the portal to the world that's got lots of mana crystals. And I was talking about how people who were over there for a long period of time, this is playing into kind of the same thing. But the portal world where they were going for mana, I had talked about this previously, about how in that world, people who'd been there for a long time and they had like mana infused food, because when they go over to the mana world, they tend to be there. They can be there for anywhere up to 9 months, depending on when the portal reopens. So sometimes they have to eat food that is there, and it has a lot more mana in it. So when they come back, they've kind of got a taste for it. And so they generally, when they're here, they seek foods that so maybe there'll be a thing about, because this has like such a strong taste and such an acquired taste, or maybe this goes through the portal with them. maybe this goes through the portal with them because it lasts so long. You know, like you find like dwarves who go through the portal will take like a few crates of this stuff. So maybe that could be how other races become familiar with this food. That could be a thing. That could be a thing. But anyway, so the idea is that this is used as like a survival ration because it's also got the alcohol in it and it's got food in it. So it's like a nutrient. It's like nutrient dense. And also, you know, it'll give you a bit of a buzz as well from the alcohol. So that's why I'm thinking the dwarves take it. And yeah. Taking on mining trips and long expeditions. Harking back to the thing I was talking about before, about them, you know, maybe finding some in a mine somewhere from a previous expedition, and it might have been down there years. They've got no idea how long it's been down there. You could have that above ground. You could have, you know, like the same way that people get about wine, and they go, ah yes, I think you'll find that's the 74. I do enjoy the 74's got such a beautiful flavour, and then the wine sell for loads of money. That in dwarven society, some people might do that with this. When was this ration made? This ration was made 8 years ago. Like maybe there's like a really wealthy miner who's like, he doesn't go mining anymore. Like he's made so much money, he's able to just like sit on his laurels. And maybe he's like the kind of person who will keep this stuff like wine. I'm not necessarily going to make that a common thing. Not necessarily that'll be a common thing, but maybe there's just like some eccentric dwarf who just keeps cellars of this stuff because he just loves it when it gets older and older. Ambrose, so you giving people minor terror anger spike lets you putting cheese into the world? No, we were already putting cheese into the world before. That this was like right at the beginning of stream. I don't think you're going to get to claim that. Taking on trips, yeah. Okay, so I think those are the main details, and we've kind of got a diagram of that, and then so. Pot cheese. A pox. Did you just wish a pox upon me? A pox upon me. You should have had an X on the end. If you're wishing a pox upon me, should be. I love how like someone is wishing ill upon me, and I'm like, no, you spelt it wrong. You need to spell it right. Should be an X on the end. So a pox. Oh wait. A pox like that. And then, so like an open jar. Open jar, and then we'll have. So we'll do the black bread on a separate. The black bread is going to get its own page, so don't panic about that, because I appreciate obviously you will panic. So then like the bread. Words and sentences. Words and sentences are fun. Until you get them wrong, and then you are done. Just to try, I'm just trying to show that it's like a soft. I imagine it kind of like being almost like soft like butter is kind of how I imagine it. And then we'll make it look like it's a little picnic. There you go. Little picnic on your little napkin. Napkin, towel, whatever. Okay. So that's kind of like that. That'll be the focus on the actual cheese itself. We'll do a separate one for the bread. Now, what folder would I put this in? What would I class this as for the folders? I don't actually have a folder for this kind of thing. For now it's going to go in world. Hot cheese. Now, it's not saying what we're done with it. We're not necessarily done with it. I'm just making sure I've got a save down of it. So I'm going to class it as food, and it's going to go in the world. So we're going to have a section in the world folder for food. So we'll start there. The roots. Let's do that. Then. Okay. So, the bread. I wonder what I'm going to do with the bread. Oh wait! Oh, this is still. This chair is still leaning back. Wait, there we go. I've recovered from this morning, so we can have the chair back up right now. Sponsor, you're sending pogs. I mean, it depends on the pogs you're going to send me, sponsor, because, you know, some of those might be worth quite a bit of money nowadays. That might be too old for most people. There might be many people who have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about pogs. Of course, dwarves don't call it dwarven battle bread. That's a human name for it. No, I think in terms of battle bread, I think that might just be like an affectionate nickname for it. Like the dwarves might call it battle bread as like a nickname. It'll be a black. I'm imagining it to be a black bread. I'm wondering what might actually be used in it. It might be. I'm going to think. Like there might be charcoal in it. There might be charcoal in it because, and it might be used. because I'm trying to think about it being like almost like being in a, like a, because we're talking about it being like a ration survival type thing. I'm gonna have a think about what I'm gonna put in it. Man of the your idea is the bread is so hard it's often used as blunt weapons, but only pot cheese can soften it up for eating. Both the bread and the cheese is made specific matchup so you can use the cheese and bread as improvised weapons. Don't call a dwarf unprepared. I don't know if I'm going to go down the route of they will have been, like at the beginning, that they will have been intended for use as weapons. But I'm like, I can see like the ingenuity of the dwarves. As time goes on, they found them to be suitable weapons. So maybe in the current time, they might be seen that way, but not necessarily that they were originally intended for that purpose. But anyway, so initial, like we got like 2 bits of bread. We got 2 bits of bread. We've got like the hardtack type thing, which will be just like little squares. So say, you know, like hardtack on a boat. Hardtack on a boat. These are probably like palm size. I'm using a really big brush. Let's stop doing that. Palm sized. These might actually be. These potentially will be the same bread, just in different shapes. You know, some people, like, depending on what kind of a pack you're packing, you might pack these because they're a bit more convenient in size and shape. And then and like another shape for it is like what we were saying, like, you know, about the baguette, which we'll say the baguette type bread just so we've got a reference on here, and we'll say that one's like, we'll say that's like the length of your forearm. So we'll say that's the length of your forearm. We'll say that one's palm-sized. So like you can imagine, kind of like, depending on the type of pack that you're doing. So say like you've got like your long-term like rucksack or something, you're probably going to have more of this one, you know, packed in a rucksack. But if you say going on like a morning excursion, you might like put a few of those, like, you know, those will fit in like pockets. I'm taking black bread. Ash, how was the movie you asked me to watch? I haven't had a chance to, we have a list. We have a list right now, Ash. You've got... I thought... Hang on. Hang on. Oh no, have I accidentally got rid of something? Oh, no. Sorry, someone requested a movie yesterday that I couldn't watch. Ash, at the moment, you've got two movies on the Bearded Review to do. I have not watched them yet. I didn't get a chance over this weekend. But so Society of the Snow and The Zone of Interest are the two movies that you've currently got on the list. I'm going to try and get them watched during... I don't know when I'm going to get to watch them. I will watch them as soon as I can. I just don't know exactly when that's going to be. It might be Friday. Might be Friday that I watch them. And you've added another movie, the Weird Al movie. Oh yeah, because that came out last week, didn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. You know, I call it stone bread just to really give the idea of the fact that it's going to be hard. It's a bit small. Maybe. These can be working tiles. These can be working tiles. They don't have to stay this way. I can always change them. Call it black tack to get away from the IRL type. I don't necessarily mind about things having like real world names. So like, you know, when we talk about something, say like hard tack, like when we get to potentially like, say like the human, when we're describing the humans, like I've got no problem necessarily that they have things like hard tack, because like that helps. Like we can give things like different names when it's you know, makes it sound a bit more interesting. But sometimes when you talk about something like hardtack, you know, you potentially want to try and help like conjure in someone's mind. Like, you know, for instance, like we're using like cheese and whiskey, like we were talking about before. I'm not necessarily gonna like that. Sometimes it can be useful to use real world terms just to really kind of like cement in someone's mind what you're trying to describe. So I don't mind it necessarily being called just like hardtack. I think kind of like the route I'm going to go. I feel like the route I'm probably going to go down in this world is, and I've talked about this before, I don't necessarily want to just like create a brand new language, because creating new languages is a whole skill in itself, and I am not competent enough to create a whole new language itself. But I would actually probably take an approach that's got similarities to kind of the way that Games Workshop tackles
And
things.
the battlements repel the invaders.
Oh, hello. Kofi. Hello. Thank you very much for the raid. Oh my, what time is it? It's 11:10. Okay, hello. Hello. Welcome in. Welcome.
A new
How are you doing? How's it going?
The arena.
Alien_Galeen just followed.
Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you very kindly. Let's where's grab the name. There we go. Pop that in there. Marvelous. So what arting were you doing today? Have you got anything that you would like to share with the class? But welcome into all the raiders, and thank you very much for the follow. Thank you very kindly. Today we're doing stuff. We're trying to develop, or rather adapt. We're trying to develop and adapt.
You're one of us now.
Some real world foods for the world that I'm trying to build. And so we've started off with a very stinky alcoholic cheese type creation. And we've just started off, we're starting to work out some breads and how they're going to fit in a dwarven world. You were stitching originally, but you finished, and now you're working on a new BRB screen. Oh God. Do you know what? Out of everything, whenever it comes to making artwork, like you almost feel like, being that you doing like art on your channel, you feel like, oh, I should have the best overlays. I should have the best screens. And then when you start doing them, you start realizing how much time goes into them. Hence, this overlay. I call this minimalist overlay. They take so much time. So good on you for working on a BRB screen. But yes, and also sponsor. Thank you very much for the gifty sub sponsor. Very kind. Enjoy my animated emotes, which obviously, if you see my animated emotes, you'll see they are meh. Because I found, I was about to say I didn't find at all. That's a complete fib.
A new challenger entered the arena.
No, it's a long-lived
Joe
chaos.
_35 Twitch scammer just followed.
That's not a real person.
You're one of us now.
That's just one of the dodgy bots. So long live chaos. Let's just report that one. Get that one reported. Scambot, and then we'll get back to you. Get back to you, delightful people. Submit report. Thank you. There we go. That's that sorted. And also glowing boar. Hello. But sorry, I was about to say, yeah, like if anyone actually streams and you want to have animated emotes, I was directed at a really useful tool, which is called Screen to GIF. Screen to GIF, and it basically takes. You can just have it like focus. You can like take literally where I am right now, and I can just go ooh and do that, and then I just click that, and then I feed it into the screen to GIF thing, and I can turn it into an animated emote. It's that easy, obviously without the sound, so no one gets to appreciate me going ooh, but it's a good thing. And now we have loads of animated emotes on this channel because they became super simple to do. I did not find it though. I realized I started that off originally with me saying I found it. One of the delightful guys in chat directed me to it. And Sazzle Snakes, alcoholic cheese, you have my attention. So to clarify, this alcoholic cheese thing is a real thing. Mana was talking to me about it at the beginning of stream, and now we've just turned it into try and bring it into our world. And sponsor, thank you very much for another gifty sub. Thank you kindly. So yeah, so the alcoholic cheese is this thing. So that's the thing that we've decided that is this now this. In fact, I tell you what, because we've not got very far with the bread, I'll explain this thing because there's more of this to work with. And sorry, yeah, Ophi, always working on enough art stuff that making your own stream art ends up at the bottom of the to-do list. Yes, completely and utterly, yes. But yeah, anyway, so the idea of this thing is there's this basically it's a cheese which is mixed with essentially a spirit of your choosing. Though the description seems to be talking about whiskey, but it also says you can use other stuff. And so in the real world, you basically take the cheese and it goes in a jar and you put it in with the alcohol, and then over time you mix them together and they basically like blend together. And then it can store, because obviously the alcohol is like a preservative, and cheese is a bit, cheese is obviously got its own preserving qualities, and from what I understand, you basically spread it almost like a soft cheese or a butter onto bread, and so that's the real world version. And so what I've decided to do is I'm kind of saying that the dwarves in my world take this stuff when they go on mining expeditions. So when they go into the deep, when they delve too deep, they take this stuff in small clay jars which are sealed with wax, and then they've got a clay lid on top, and then they have the benefit of like it's like very calorie and nutrient dense, and apparently it stinks, but the dwarves aren't going to notice that much because the dwarves, due to all the dangers of mining, they don't have a lot of smell and taste, so they enjoy this stuff because it's so strong. It actually is something that they can smell and taste. Ophi, you got a raid and run? Of course, yes, of course. You do whatever you need to do. And thank you very much for the raid. Time Machine. What's the app called again? The app. I'll tell you what. I've probably got the URL. Screen. Come on, preload. I've been there because I've downloaded the software. Screen to GIF. That's the thing. So yeah, that software, that's the one that makes the GIFs. And yeah, so I imagine the imagine is like the dwarves will go down the mines, and then when they're eating at night, they need something, that's very dense, and this will form the basis. And then what we're also doing is we're pairing that with essentially a survival bread, so it'll be a dense food, that's going to be very tough due to the way it's manufactured. It's going to be very tough and strong, but putting this pot cheese on it will soften the bread a bit, so they pair really well together. So that's what we're doing, and so we've kind of got our notes down. We've got our notes down for our pot cheese, and now we're having a bit of a think in regards to how we want to represent the bread. We've also suggested that because this bread is so tough, that it may actually be used as an improvised weapon. Basically, dwarves running around with baguettes, bopping each other on the head. So yeah, right, okay. So I need to think how. Right, coming back up, because I know you were saying some bits, weren't you, Manna? You were saying some bits about. So like, in terms of what's in it, I know we're kind of like referring to it as like a stone bread. So okay. So the way you were looking at it was like a basalt stone loaf with a touch of volcanic rock. Oh, so you're actually proposing actual stone to be in the loaf. Okay. And a sandstone loaf. So yeah, okay. So the actual like the hardness of the loaf is dictated by the stone that's in it, which would definitely make sense. Would I have the actual stone in it? Would I have? I don't know if I'd necessarily have stone in it. I'm thinking potentially this stuff. It's just a name. Oh wait, no, because when you were describing up above, you were saying, "Have I complete?" So like, yeah, okay, right. The way you wrote it, I thought you meant there was actually stone in it, because you said basalt stone loaf with a touch of volcanic rock. Okay, so it is just a description of how soft or hard they are. Okay, so like you'd go in a bakery. When you go in a bakery, you kind of like are requesting. They'll go, "What kind of hardness are you looking for? Which hardness are you looking for?" Okay. Because I'm thinking there might be. In terms of its black colour, see, there's a couple of ways we might get a dark colour to the bread. Because part of me is wondering whether there might be some blood in the bread, almost like like when we make like black pudding. Because part of what I want for the dwarves is that they don't waste anything. Because a lot of their society is underground. They don't necessarily have the luxury of just like throwing stuff away, or resources being scarce, not using stuff. So in terms of the bread having a dark color, I don't know, it might have like some blood in it. The other thing I was thinking of charcoal, but I tell you what, hang on, right, let's actually just look up. Let's look up actual black bread. Let's see. Because yeah, black. Okay, so black bread is typically made from grain flours such as rye, wheat, or a mixture of both. It can also contain ingredients like molasses. Okay, so that'd be quite coffee, cocoa, or even beer, for it to get its dark colour. Okay. What? I'm just having a quick look at some recipes, just to, because I was potentially thinking of maybe possibly having like some charcoal in the bread, just again as part of the whole thing of, because they are far from, like, when they're on these mining trips, they're not near like civilization, and potentially like they might eat charcoal as trying to get rid of any impurities that might potentially make them ill. So they might just mix it into the bread so that they're, you know, they're always like on top of not getting ill. Whether it's accurate or not in terms of that's what it actually does for them, could be, you know, that could be like an old wives' tale. Like an old wives' tale for the dwarves might be, oh, you need to eat, and that, you know, that would actually, I've just realised, I think the reason why I'm suggesting this is because I used to work with a lady, who, now this is not me trying to say that the entire country thinks like this, but I always remember she was from Belarus, and I remember she told me like this came from like her mother. So I don't know whether it's, you know, it might just be her family. Like it's not representative of the whole of Belarus. But whenever anyone was ill, like this became like a running joke on our team, that whenever anyone became ill, she was always trying to feed you charcoal tablets. She was always trying to feed you charcoal tablets because she was like, this is what we do. This is what we've always done back home. This is what we do with the family. If you're ill, take some charcoal tablets, get rid of whatever's in you and is bad for you. So I've realized this is probably why this is in my brain. I think this essentially eat the coal. And so that kind of makes me inclined to do this. And so this, I might turn this into a dwarven thing. Like dwarves see it as like, this is how you get impurities out of your body. And so they put charcoal in the bread, which makes it black, obviously. And then like looking at the brief descriptions of black bread on Google, like there's a few different things you can put into, like there's a few different ingredients that get put in black bread. So like charcoal can be a thing. I think I probably will do one that's maybe mixed with like blood. Again, this comes back to the whole thing of the dwarves are very much going to be of like nothing gets wasted. They will find a use for, I'm gonna say they're gonna find use for 99% of things. That's the way I'm gonna go, is 99% of things they're gonna find a use for. Because I'm sure at some point in the future I'm gonna say, oh, they just throw this stuff on the fire or throw it in a corner, and someone's gonna go, you said dwarves don't waste things. So I'm gonna say 99% of things dwarves will find a use for. And then this bread, you know, if they're mixing like blood and stuff into the bread, that, you know, that's some nutrients, because this is a survival food. So like the intent is for this, because it's a survival food, it needs two aspects to it. It needs to have longevity, and it needs to have like a high nutrient content. So it's not necessarily gonna, what I'm imagining is something that's kind of like halfway between what we class as bread and what we class as black pudding, kind of a combination, so that the for the purposes of it being a survival food. So I'm just looking at, like I say, like I'm looking at the ingredients that are suggested for black bread, because like they even say like it could be made with beer. I'm not necessarily going to have it made with beer, just because we've got the alcoholic cheese, we've got the pot cheese, and the pot cheese has already got alcohol in it. So that, I don't necessarily think the bread will have beer in it. I've also just seen, what was that one? Oh, there's a Russian black bread recipe. It says it's got a licorice flavour. So is that because I presume there must be licorice in it then. Let's have a quick look at the ingredients. Oh, how weird. They don't actually... I wonder how that ends up with a licorice flavour when there's no... Okay. Right, we've got, on the plus side, we've got a bit of wiggle room. We've got a bit of wiggle room. And then I just need to work out... What is... Okay, so what goes into... What goes into hardtack? Like, how do they make hardtack? Ending up with a bit of a history lesson. Remember to soak hardtack before eating. Nah, dwarves got strong teeth. Hardtack is a very simple recipe and only requires flour, water, and salt. Okay. Only oh, so is that it? That's it. So it's just basically, yeah, it's not the other ingredient. Okay. Cool. So that again, if that's like a really, that's a simple enough recipe, isn't it? So if I add the other bits in, that'll be great. That'll be gravy. Sorted. Nice. We can work with this. Cosmic Bunny, charcoal pills are good. At one point, this lady tried to like basically feed so many people with charcoal pills. We did actually wonder whether she maybe had like shares in a charcoal pill making company, but it was just charcoal pills cured everything in her mind. Could use a fermented algae as yeast. Could make the bread black. Could do. I mean, I think the charcoal. I do like this charcoal idea of like the charcoal being like the dwarves are kind of like, oh, it helps purify you and keeps you healthy. But from what we're looking at there, like there's not any, like in terms of like when we're talking about like hardtack. So like this one, which is like our hardtack. So we're going to have different breads. So this one will have no yeast, obviously because it's not risen. This one will have to have yeast, otherwise it won't be very loaf shaped, will it? Unless it's not risen, we just make it. It's just there's just another. Maybe that's part of how it's so dense. Like, because obviously, like a loaf, you know, when you make the bread, you leave it to rise. But if if there's no yeast in it, it won't rise. But if they just put so much, like if you imagine, like if we do a cross section of a loaf tin, like when you're doing a loaf, like you'll just put like the dough in at the bottom, won't you? And then it'll. So with yeast, and then it'll rise over, you know, as it comes together. Whereas like this thing, like this dwarven bread, if we say it's got no yeast, but they literally just fill a loaf, and that this would play into the whole thing about it being really, really dense and tough. So yeah, so maybe there never needs maybe yeast never needs to be involved in this bread. Like we can essentially the baguette we're talking about, like the baguette shape we're talking about here. Let's not delete it. The baguette shape we're talking about here isn't because like the loaf has risen. This is just because they've just wedged in so much dough, which is why it's so dense and strong for them to be able to whack someone over the head with it. And then, sorry, so Manny was saying like veggies, fats, and proteins. Yeah, so I'm thinking like the bread, like in terms of this bread, I'm thinking they are going to put other stuff in it. So like ingredients, potential ingredients. Not with a brush that big. Not with a brush that big. Rises and more dough. So additional ingredients. Charcoal. I'll have to have a think about fats. But yeah, mate, yeah, we could yeah, fats could be a thing. And then flour could be made from dried and ground cave mushrooms. Yeah, the flour could be made from dried mushrooms. Like we've kind of like when we've done like we're going back a bit now. But when I was like describing the different mushrooms when we had the focus on the gnomes, and we were talking about gnomes farming mushrooms for basically different purposes, and so there were mushrooms that they used. Like that's where the Christmas tree mushroom comes from. The Christmas tree mushroom is typically used as lumber, but at Christmas, you know, they've got the whole thing of like the alcoholic nodules on it. And I think we did cover like a mushroom being essentially. I kind of got very into mushrooms kind of being the problems. Every problem a gnome had, I kind of solved with a type of mushroom. So we did have like there could be a mushroom flour, which again that's kind of going to make sense because like a dwarves are not going to be like growing like, you know, fields of grain underground. You know, I mean, they'll bring in flour from the surface, but they do like the idea of being self-sufficient. Alfarius, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry you don't like PP. Sorry I don't like Phoenix Point. Hey, Alfarius, I bought all the DLC for Phoenix Point during the sale, just in case it's the game that gets voted for. You can have the full Phoenix Point experience if that game comes up. I am committed. I am committed to the potential of these things happening. And then so. Let's see. Right. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna nip to the loo. We're back. Anyway, sorry, chat. Yeah. Alpharis, you don't want to force you to play games you hate. I don't hate Phoenix Point. I was just disappointed with Phoenix Point. I don't think there's any game... I don't think there's any game that I've streamed that I hate. Yet. I don't know why we just got a drum roll there. That drum roll was... I did not time that drum roll, but that almost felt like I was about to reveal what games I do hate. I don't hate Phoenix Point. I was disappointed the way it forced you down a particular route. That I didn't totally enjoy that. I wanted, essentially, when I played Phoenix Point, I wanted to play more as I wanted to play as more of a good person, saving the whole of humanity, and the game was just like, nah, we're gonna make this so painful that you're going to choose a side. Anyway. Hello, Yana. Hello. Could the bread be hard that you need an axe to cut it in pieces? It's going to be a very hard bread. So that's part of why it's going with the pot cheese, because the pot cheese softens the bread. In terms of actually cutting it, I am sure there is a dwarf that will cut this bread with an axe. I have no doubt there'll be a dwarf that will cut it with an axe. But I'm sure there will be more sensible dwarfs who will just use a serrated blade. Use the bread to sharpen weapons. I don't know. Tell you what, I might check that. I might check exactly how soft a whetstone could be, whether this could work. I don't. I mean, I suppose you do use. Well, after you've shot. Would you? You wouldn't want to do this though, would you? Because like after you use a whetstone, you do use leather to make sure none of the bits, like the leather helps get rid of any like the burrs that might have been like knocked off. But would you want to use the bread for that and then eat the bread after? Yes, let's eat some metal. Let's eat some bits of metal. I should play the new Gollum game. I don't think I've looked at the new Gollum game, so I'm not sure how bothered I am about doing the new Gollum game. Also, isn't that on... I think... Is the Gollum game the one that's an exclusive on Epic Games right now? You think I would hate the Gollum game? I'll look at some reviews. I'll look at some reviews and see why you think I would dislike it. There's such a thing as a sensible dwarf. Sazzle. Sazzle. Of course there are sensible dwarfs. Of course there are sensible dwarfs. Just maybe not in high concentrations. You need tea. You cannot eat before 1:30. Ooh. Well, hopefully the tea will see you through. You should play Chaos Gate, the first, not the second. I think I own the first one now. I think I did actually buy the first Chaos Gate. I don't know if it would work on my PC, but I'm pretty sure I bought it. I think I picked it up on GOG. Oh, wait, I've got Final Liberation. I got Final Liberation, and I thought I picked up Chaos Gate. Oh, I did. I own Chaos Gate, the first one. So it's not outside the realms of possibility. But it would depend how easy it would take me to actually get it to work on this PC. Because if it's not a case of me just hitting play and it working, I'll probably lose interest within about 5 seconds. Fun fact, Tolkien directly stole the character Gollum from folklore. The original is also actually named Gollum. Is there folklore for Gollum? That sounds like something I want to read about later on. Folklore Gollum. No, no. Wait. Are we just talking about golems? Oh, when I hit, okay, maybe I'm not finding the right thing, but Google's just trying to say you're not searching for Gollum, you're searching for golems. I don't know about golems already, but that doesn't seem. Hang on. Google is definitely trying to take me to different things. I will check that out later. Everyone hated the game. The company said support for the game is over. Oh, right, okay. You want to see me and Dan do Chaos Gate multiplayer? Why? Why? You really want the Cozy Hobbit game, but it's not out till next year. Oh, do you know? Like, part of me wants to get excited about like Lord of the Rings games, but then like there's one like I was excited for the dwarf one. I was excited for the dwarf game that I think by the time it actually comes onto Steam, I'll have probably lost interest and forgotten about it. But it's currently over on Epic Games, isn't it? Is it? It's got something like Moria in the title. We are indeed up to 82% for the forfeit. We are indeed. For the forfeit game, we're at 82%. And we've got 4 streams left before that becomes a thing. Anyway, right, so this bread, we're potentially going to do these kind of bits. These bits might be the additional ingredients. Which, to be fair, if I'm saying additional ingredients, there should really be some. And I realise I can look this up on the internet. I realise these things are on the internet, but it's just so that they're here. Essentially so that I know that we've looked them up. If I could write, that would be so beneficial. Main ingredients: flour, salt. What was the other bit? Was it flour? When I looked up hardtack, where's hardtack? Hardtack is just flour, water, and salt. And then the flour. I'm going to say any flour, but we'll potentially say like mushroom flour best. Mushroom flower vest. So we kind of got the starting point. We've got the starting point for how this bread's going to lay out, and so it's good. We got two survival foods that kind of pair together. Oh, and then I've not even covered, have I? I've not even covered. Wait. We've not covered the fun bit. We've not. Right. We've not covered the fun bit. We need to bring this up, give myself some space at the bottom, and then this arrow means nothing. In fact, this doesn't really. This doesn't really need to be here at all, does it? This isn't, without actually some notes, this doesn't. Hang on. That's typing? I've just said typing. I mean, that's where I'm going wrong, isn't it? I was about to say typing when I mean writing. So if I think this is typing, this is why this goes very wrong. Dough. So we're going to say dense. Anyway, right. Now, this is where the fun begins. This is where the fun begins. Let's give ourselves a little space. Bread as a weapon. In a pinch. Dwarves have been known. I have no space. Oh my god, I'm running out of space. Tell you what, we'll do this a different way. Get rid of all of this. Get rid of all of this. Zoom, and then my writing will be smaller. Do you know what I do need to look up? I need to look up. When I was a kid, we used to make salt pastry. No, not salt pastry. Salt. It was like a salt bread. Well, we used to use it for arts and craft because it was really easy to make. And I'm just thinking, was we just making hardtack? I think we might have just been making hardtack. But then just using it kind of like clay. And I've only just realised that's probably what it was, because that's all that went into it. Bread as weapon. Did you not try to eat it? Well, no, this was the thing. Like, I was told, like, don't eat it, because it was so hard that you would have just broken your teeth on it. Bread so dense. in a pinch. Used as a cudgel. I don't know why I tried to turn that L into a T. Use a cudgel. By desperate soldiers, explorers, miners, and angry parents. There we go. Okay. So there's that. Needs to be softened before eating. What time are we on? Actually, speaking of eating, oh, it's nearly 12. Nearly 12. We're nearly at the end of stream. This was not what I was intending to do with today's stream, but I do judge today's stream as quite productive because we've got decently fleshed out 2 like survival items. So that's good. And what I actually wanted to do with today's stream, I wanted to finish off that symbol that I was working on yesterday. I wanted to finish off. Just for anyone who thinks that we just do writing here, I do try to actually put some artwork together. I did actually want to finish off this thing for the watch, which is their symbol of office. Saying that, we did get the seal of approval done, didn't we? The seal of approval did get done. Okay, so we've got pot cheese. We've then got, at the moment, we'll call it like hardtack. Tell you what, where am I saving it? Food. For the purposes of the save file, it's just going to be called black hardtack. So that can be there. We've got that and that, and then yeah, we might try and work on this. I don't know when we're going to work on this, but I do want to get this finished. I want to get this faction. I want to get this faction symbol finished because this is going to be. I kind of want to create a standardized document for symbols so that I can start making them for all the different factions that we've got so far. So I do need to come back to that. A little bit like this. Like, this is very disorganized. This is just like I'm basically using this like a chalkboard, but I am going to have to come up with a bit more of a formal layout for these kind of items. Is this why so many orcs have metal teeth? Maybe, yeah. Maybe they stole all the hard bread from the dwarves. Did you not try to eat the bread? Disappointed. That kind of line is bullshit. Wait, what line? What line was what did I say? What did I say that was bullshit? I cannot believe I said anything that was bullshit. It would never happen. Bacon time soon. Oh, do you know what? I don't know when I'm next going to have bacon. I'm going to have... I'm not... when did I last have bacon, actually? It's been a few weeks. We might not be a million miles away from bacon time. Yanni, you got a question? Of course. Of course, your question. Would they decorate dwarven bread if it's given as a gift? I suppose you might have given me an idea. You're giving me an idea. Maybe because... So kind of like the way the dwarves work in this world Glowing Boar, hello. Unfortunately, I don't speak cat, so I'm not sure exactly what the cat was saying there, but I appreciate whatever they said. So because dwarves are quite in this world, the dwarves are very practical. And that impacts the way they live their lives, and it impacts society. Like I think I've talked about before, like dwarves don't care who you are as long as you're contributing to society. As long as you're making a contribution, and that's why they took in the gnomes. So when the gnomes were migrating and escaping, they took in the gnomes. Whereas a lot of races don't view the gnomes as really real people. The dwarves took the gnomes in, and it's because the gnomes were able to contribute to their society through like they were better at farming mushrooms, they could work on smaller things, and that's kind of a representative of how dwarves view the world. Is they're quite practical, and it's not to mean to say that they don't, they obviously do have like art and stuff, but in terms of like if we're talking about, let's say, like the bread. And like as I was talking about before, like the dwarves don't want to waste anything. Everything should be about keeping the society going, keeping the society alive. So if they were to give the offering of food, I could see how that could be like them kind of, that might be maybe they could give like a bread as a gift, because what you're saying is you're helping someone stay alive by giving them food. So if you're then talking about like maybe them as like maybe a decorated bread, I don't know exactly what the decoration would be. That might have to be a thing for another stream where we try and look into that. But definitely, like giving bread as a gift, like a dwarf would appreciate, because like if you were to give a dwarf a gift, they are going to appreciate more something that is practical. So something like the bread. Would they be like, oh, you want me to stay alive? That's kind of what it symbolizes. You want that person to stay alive. So yeah, in terms of doing bread decoration, yeah, quite possibly. I think if I was to try and make it make it fit with like the dwarves, I'd probably go with the decoration of a loaf being similar to their architecture. Which, considering we're on the basis we're probably calling this stone bread, would be very fitting. I've just got visions now. I've got visions of just like someone making a loaf, and then once it's baked and ready, just like they go into the workshop and they come back with a hammer and chisel, and they're just like chiseling in the decoration onto the bread because it's so strong. So they might use techniques that are similar to the architecture of their city on that bread. And there's going to be bakeries, so like an artisanal bakery that does like very complex decoration is not out of the question. But yeah, the actual giving of bread as a gift, I think, would be very important to a dwarf, because you're basically saying, I want you to stay alive. I've just seen Manus kind of said the same thing. It would have been a chiseled loaf of bread. After all that hard, any decorations just don't stick. I think we're all on the same track. Runed bread for conversation. So yeah, so the whole thing with like runes, I need to work out what's going to happen with runes. Certainly, because like magic runes aren't necessarily going to be a thing in this world. But maybe there could be runes that are just literally just not power, but just runes that maybe there's like a rune of gifting or something. We know the truth beard. The gnomes will be put in the blood press and then in the bread. No. While the elves do terrible things to the gnomes, And the elves do terrible things to the gnomes. The dwarves do not do terrible things to the gnomes. The dwarves are, with how long the gnomes have been with them now, the dwarves view gnomes like, so dwarf society, as I say, if you're contributing to society, you are part of society, and dwarves will protect that society. So with the gnomes being part of that, if like someone comes and tries to push a gnome into some kind of oil press to get their blood out, dwarves view that as much of an attack on them as they do on the gnomes, because they are just part of the society. So when the elves turn up to try and chop off gnome tails, as they are known to do, the dwarves do not take that kindly. So no, they don't squeeze the gnomes for blood to make the blood bread. The blood bread will come from it might come from the capybaras or the koipus that they have herds of. The dwarves do not do terrible things to the gnomes that we know of. No, they don't. No. I can categorically tell you that. As the person creating this world, I can tell you the dwarves don't do terrible things to gnomes. That's just not happening. Anyway, right, we've gone past 12, so we are going to have to not the capybara, the Sazzle, the capybara and koipu are essentially the cows of the gnome world. So unfortunately, things that some people might not like do happen to the capybara and koipus of this world. It's why we have gnomish. Where I've got one. Where is he? There you go. There you go. Gustav Wrangelbeiter, a rancher and purveyor of the finest furs, and that's his koipu. That's his koipu behind him. But yes. Anyway, right. So we are going to be wrapping up now. This has been good. I like I say, this was not what I was intending to do this morning, but this has been fun to get these bits down. I like getting these bits down, because this is, as I say, I need to formalize this into something that's a bit more presentable. But at least we've got the notes down. So that's cool. Right, let's make sure that's saved, and that is saved. And then, yeah, so this, again, I want to finish this off as the symbol for the watch. So we'll have to put some more work into this. Now, tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow. I am not here tomorrow, because tomorrow is Wednesday, and I don't stream on a Wednesday. So, I won't be here. I would love it if this chat did not clear every time I came on this screen. I would love it if the chat just stayed. That would be really useful and helpful. But it doesn't do that. On the plus side as well, I've just noticed we appear to have maintained the stream all day. So yesterday we had the stream cutting out, didn't we? The stream cut out at random moments. I think the YouTube one's carried on as well, hasn't it? I don't think the YouTube one cut out at any point, so that's good. That's nice that those are maintaining. Do you know, we've lost a load of followers today. I'm presuming Twitch must be doing a clearing out of bots, because we have dropped a few followers on our count. Anyway, right. So what I was saying, tomorrow no stream, because tomorrow is Wednesday and I don't stream on a Wednesday. We will be back on Thursday. However, on Thursday it won't be a morning stream. It won't be a morning stream on Thursday. It will be an afternoon stream on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to be artwork or gaming. I'll kind of make a decision when I come to starting the stream. Thursday morning, I'm just going to go after everyone's started work. I'm going to go and vote. So I don't know exactly how long that'll take, but all it needs is for there just to be a bit of a queue, and before you know it, I'm not back here until 10, half 10, and at that point, starting a stream at that point is a bit pointless because I'd be finishing at lunchtime. So instead, I will do a stream Thursday afternoon, which might be gaming or artwork, and then Friday will be normal. Friday will be a regular full day. Hopefully we have no emergency calls where I have to cancel stream like last week in the middle of the stream. But yeah, so Thursday afternoon, Friday, double trouble. So morning and afternoon. And yeah. I think that's all of that. Bearded, are you putting in a time for Thursday when you start? Oh, yeah, okay, so if I'm starting the afternoon stream, I will be aiming to start that stream at 1 o'clock UK time. So at the moment we're on BST right now. So 1 o'clock BST for the Thursday stream is when I will endeavour to start that one. Now, Barely's streaming. Oh, that makes that easy. That makes that super easy. We're going to go and raid Barely. Barely's currently doing his playthrough of Total War, Warhammer 3. So we're going to go and say hello to his beautiful face. Okay, 2 o'clock for you then. Yes, yeah, 2 o'clock for you. Yeah. Let's get that raid started. And then I need to go and do a load of work to pay bills. So we shall bid you adieu as soon as I can get that started. Oh, he was top. He was top of my list. Nice. Cool. For anyone who is on YouTube, apologies. You don't come with us. You don't come with us on this one. But anyway, right. So, if you've been watching, thank you very much. If you've been talking in chat, thank you even more. Thank you very much for the gift subs today. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's kind of that. Whatever you choose to do with the rest of the day, I hope that you have a fantastic time. And until I next see you, until then, a goodbye.